So the New England Patriots are off to a slow start this year. Out the gate in 2020, they are a 2-3 ball club. They are trailing the Miami Dolphins at 3-3 and the Buffalo Bills at 4-2 at the time of this episode recording, okay? Now, the thing about the Patriots is they have a very good defense. The defense is still very good, led by Stephon Gilmore, a very good secondary. We know Bill Belichick is arguably the best defensive mind in the entire NFL in 2020 as we speak today. He's great. That defense is very, very sound. And I think the Patriots have a very good run game. Sony Michel is having a pretty solid season. He's not gotten a whole lot of carries. I think Sony Michel needs to get a couple more carries this year. But, Sony Michel, Rex Burkhead, the run game is pretty good. The offensive line is still pretty solid. The only problem for the Patriots is they don't have a very talented wide receiver and tight end core. Their wide receivers and tight ends are just not very good. And I like Julian Edelman. I like N'Keal Harry. I like Damian Byrd. But these guys are not explosive wide receivers. And, there's all this talk about Cam Newton having to learn the whole new system this year, and I understand there are some struggles with learning a whole new system with Cam Newton. He's kind of gotten off to a slow start because of lack of getting preseason games. This has not been the ideal offseason for Cam Newton. But guess what? If you have dudes at wide receiver, meaning if your wide receivers are super duper talented, the scheme only means so much. The scheme means everything with the Patriots right now because the players they have are just not very good at wide receiver. I'm sorry. Julian Edelman looks washed. N'Keal Harry can't separate down the field consistently. And Damian Byrd, he's a good player, but on certain teams, he'd be the fourth option. He's the second best option right now on this team, okay? And right now, the Patriots offense is just it's just not that good, okay? It's not. And ultimately, the Patriots, if they're going to miss the playoffs this year, it is going to be because Bill Belichick and this coaching staff have refused to address the wide receiver position. And by the way, the Patriots could have had Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell was on the market. He only cost you about $2 million, Bill Belichick. Why did you not go out and sign Le'Veon Bell? He'd be a great option out the backfield for Cam Newton. He'd be a great safety blanket for this offense. But the Patriots say, nope, we're rigid. We believe in our system, and it's going to work. No, it's not going to work. And the Patriots, ultimately, I don't think they're quite a Super Bowl caliber roster at the moment just because they don't have enough explosive weapons on the outside. And while they could upset a team like Kansas City or Pittsburgh maybe, just because we know Cam Newton is great, we know Bill Belichick is great, and once the Patriots enter the tournament, anything's possible. But ultimately, I don't see any scenario in which the Patriots can go win 3 or 4 straight games to win a Super Bowl this year just because they're not explosive enough on the outside at wide receiver. They just don't have the weapons. And ultimately, shame on the Patriots organization. Shame on Bill Belichick. And shame on the Patriots organization for not surrounding Cam Newton with better weapons on the outside. I kind of have even more profound respect for Tom Brady just because Tom Brady won 12 games last year with not great wide receiver play. This is the same weapons that Tom Brady had last year, and Cam Newton is struggling big time. Meanwhile, Tom Brady goes out there and wins 12 games. Cam Newton on the year has 2 touchdown passes to 4 interceptions and an 81 pass rating. He's been efficient at times, but he's made some boneheaded mistakes. And listen, I understand that Cam Newton is dealing with a whole new challenge this year, but I have to hold Cam Newton accountable because this guy's a former league MVP. This guy's been to a Super Bowl. I expect better from Cam Newton. While Cam Newton has been very good running the football for the Patriots, as far as, the things that he's been doing in the passing game, he hasn't been cutting it. So again, the Patriots, they play the 49ers at home, this upcoming week, okay? So we're going to really see what the Patriots are all about this time around. I do think the Patriots are better than their record has indicated at this point just because I firmly believe that if Cam Newton had played versus the Kansas City Chiefs, they'd probably win that game. And Cam Newton obviously couldn't practice for a good amount of time because of COVID-19. So obviously he was rusty versus the Broncos. So eventually, I do believe the Patriots will hit the ground running, and if I were to bet money on it, I'm going to say the Patriots do make the playoffs, but as of right now, that might be wishful thinking on my part because the Patriots, looking at the standings, right now Buffalo's better, right now the Dolphins are better. I'm just talking record-wise. You could talk about the talent all you want, but record-wise, the Bills are better, The Dolphins are better. The Steelers are better. The Ravens are better. The Browns are better. The Colts are better. The Titans are better. The Chiefs are better. The Raiders are better. And the Broncos now own a tiebreaker over them. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's about 8 or 9 teams right off the bat right now that are in a better spot today than the Patriots. Not to mention the Patriots. You look at their schedule. Boy, is their schedule brutal down the stretch, okay? It's really, really brutal. I don't know if the Patriots can make the playoffs this year, because when I look at their schedule, they got to play the 49ers, who are getting healthier and healthier by the day. They still got to play Buffalo twice. They got to play the Ravens. They have to play the Cardinals. They have to play the Chargers. They have to play the Rams. They have to play at Miami. We know Miami gives them trouble every single year. So, man, the Patriots, I mentioned in the offseason, I won't be shocked if the Patriots miss the playoffs just because I don't believe in their offense, and this is the first time where there's going to be major change to the Patriots organization in regards to structure at the quarterback position because Tom Brady, he was so, all in when it came to football, and Bill Belichick knew Tom Brady inside and out. And the Patriots are struggling now that Tom Brady is gone. And by the way, shout out to Tom Brady for leaving Bill Belichick because Bill Belichick did not give him enough weapons. We see right now Cam Newton is on an island because he doesn't have enough support on offense. And Tom Brady, he's got weapons for days in Tampa. And right now, Tampa Bay, they look like the best team in all of football, potentially outside of maybe Kansas City or Pittsburgh at the moment. Those are probably the top 3 teams right now. But Tampa Bay easily could win the Super Bowl. Meanwhile, the Patriots, they might just be lucky to get into the playoffs this year. So again, I'm not giving up on the Patriots. I will say if they lose to the 49ers, it's probably a done deal for the playoffs for them just because there's so many good AFC teams. I mean, even the Cleveland Browns, people harp on Baker Mayfield and the Browns. The Browns have looked pretty good this year. So again, we'll see if the Patriots make it into the playoffs. But ultimately, the Patriots, very limited, poor offense with lack of a deep threat at wide receiver is going to be the reason why they don't win a Super Bowl this year. And it could be the reason why they missed the playoffs in 2020. Shame on Belichick and the organization for not addressing the biggest needs when it's been obvious for the last couple of years. Thank you so much for watching this video today. Please also note that the Juice Alert Sports Podcast is not just a YouTube channel. It is available on all podcasting platforms, including Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this content with all your friends. This podcast is my favorite thing in the entire world right now. It is my passion. And I want more people to listen to this podcast. I really want this podcast to grow. Also, a fun fact about me is that I want to go into the sports broadcasting and media world once I graduate from the University of Toledo, a college in Northern Ohio. I am looking to become one of the next great sports broadcasters and analysts out in the world. And I potentially would like to start my own network if this podcast really truly grows. Or if I fall short of that goal, I would love to work for a big-time network like ESPN or Fox Sports 1. I am open to all networks. So if you believe in my dreams and you see or hear my passion through the screen, be sure to tell all your friends about the Juice Alert Sports Podcast. Stay motivated, you guys. Have a God-blessed day, and I'm out.